I've got some content. It's kind of interesting. Kind of a weird, weird things are always happening to old Rob here, retired in Thailand. This was pretty weird though. I've had three separate conversations with three different people, and it was like the identical conversation all within 1 week. And the people are totally varied. One was an expat American living here for 40 years with his Thai wife, and she was agreeing with everything he said. He spoke Thai, I'm going to say fluently. I was, again, a tad jealous. Really, really, really excellent Thai, which is odd because he doesn't read Thai. So to get that far without, because reading's an advantage, reading helps you a lot, and that's amazing. Anyways, and then Fawn had the same conversation with Fawn, and then had the same conversation with a couple, a foreign resident here, expat, however you want to say it, and his Thai wife, and had the same conversation. So I'm going to try and figure out a way to do that. First, I want to start off with an update. This week, I've had two. Let me check my light. Oh wait. See, hopefully that's better. I've had two workouts, physical therapy / I like to call them workouts, but it's really PT. Well, both. And I'm doing okay. I mean, yeah, I'm in pain right now, and I just took some ibuprofen, and I'll probably use some topical whatever stuff in a minute. But I'm okay. I'm still here. I'm not like bedridden, which happens a lot. And for newer viewers, when I first got here for the first, 8 months or maybe almost a year, I was icing my back down 6 to 8 hours a day, which is almost certainly unhealthy. And it was unsustainable. I was eventually having other problems from that. But the cold therapy, using those blue gel packs, you put them in the freezer, and they are really cold. Those transfer heat quickly, or absorb heat, I guess you got to say, quickly. And they will. You have to worry about. I was worried about frostbite a couple times, but freezing. If I freeze my back, which I don't do as often now, thank God, that's 100% success rate. Like if you freeze it, the nerves stop sending the pain signal. Like it'll guaranteed stop it. And if you've ever had chronic pain or like a pain that lasted more than 3 or 4 days, after a while your body starts to shut down. It just can't take it. It's like a torture. I guess that's what they do to people when they're torturing them. And after a while, you just can't take anymore. It's like you're done. You hit a limit, which I didn't know that happened until it happened to me. Anyways, we're past all that. Thank God. And 2 workout sessions this week. I'm still doing okay. Maybe tomorrow, maybe smarter to try and do it Sunday morning. Maybe smarter to try and do it Monday or Tuesday morning. We'll see. I'll do my 3rd session. And I'm working on a schedule that I'm just enjoying my retirement, doing the most that I can. So that's kind of that. The other thing is I do want to occasionally do some like encouraging sort of like validating for the viewer content or something. Because guys mostly get here, and the number one thing they get tripped up on, of course, is Thai women and dating and marriage and such. And I think the number one or one of the big underlying causes is just, and I don't mean to put anybody down because I throw this at myself first. I had a lack of confidence when I got here, a lack of confidence in my self-worth and in my social value, and that I felt a little, if you've got a long-term Western marriage and it hasn't gone well, if it went well, you're not watching my channel, or you shouldn't be. And I came here and my confidence was really down, and now believe me, my confidence is good. And so so there's no need for a guy to come here and latch on to the first girl or 2 or 10 that show interest in him. Many of them are going to show interest. Now, there's a big difference between showing interest and liking you, like would actually care about you. Like interest and caring are not the same at all. Like that's a whole pie chart. Like I need to get my lab coat on with the pocket protector, and we got to go through charts and graphs here, but believe me, they're not the same. But what will boost your confidence is you will get a lot of attention, and some of that will be from people who could potentially possibly care about you, and that you're going to have to learn how to navigate the culture, and hence the channel and all that. But yesterday, oh my gosh, I had just absolute nothing short of model pretty, and even by Thai standards, and let me tell you, that's saying a lot. really flirting with me while I was just working out yesterday. And she had the Playboy bunny figure, and she was wearing skin tight clothes. There was absolutely not one thing left to my imagination. And she was really flirting. The Bingping, the big, big eye smile, a little bit of a blinking there, smiling at you. And pausing and holding that, waiting for you to comment, which I never did because I'm not interested. I've been down that road. But I get anywhere from, there's a day I might get no flirts at all, and that's like almost like a weird day. Fawn will ask me sometimes how many Bing Pings you get today, and then sometimes it's all we're playing back and forth. I go, oh, it was boring today. One knee, blah. Today was boring. I didn't get any. One knee, my me. But some days, oh, one knee, oh, D-Mock, and we're Putland, we're playing, playing, and it was like would be sort of like translate to kidding. And I'll say, 4 or 5, and that's true though. In a good day, if you want to call it that or whatever, you might get 4 or 5 ladies trying to angle for your attention. And as you start, when you notice what a Bing Ping is, and I got videos and that, look up dating and stuff, and there's often flirting is in the title or whatever. And in my book, I cover it extensively. So if you want more details in the book. It's like a movie versus a book. When you go to the theater, the book's always got more detail, way more detail. It's the same. I don't know how many 25-minute videos it would take me to fill out to put everything on the book and on the channel, but it might be 50 videos or something. It's a lot, and you can read it in 3 days. But I whatever. So maybe I'll eventually do it as a book I'd like to do it as a book on tape. I'd like to do that. I just baby steps, and I am retired, and there are limits on my time and my mobility and such. So I'm a little. This one's kind of tough. This all started with I'm having a coffee and I'm studying Thai at a cafe, and I told part of the story the other day. This guy was friendly, which is odd because out here in the Isan region, a lot of guys come out here to kind of hide or to disappear or to just drink themselves to death. Very literally. They come here kind of very literally to drink themselves to death. And it's just what it is. And but this guy wasn't like that. This guy, he was 70, I think, or in his early 70s anyways. Very sharp guy. He had a Thai wife with him, and she spoke pretty good English. He spoke fantastic Thai. We had no problem communicating. And, basically it was interesting. Based on his 40 years experience of living and working in Thailand, he's retired now. He's a fellow engineer, so we kind of got along too on that. On one hand, he had all this deep knowledge, and he here's the point. He validated like all the major points of my channel, about getting along in the culture and not being a jerk, and the Thais are very generally there's a lot of politeness involved, and a lot of foreigners come here and they're really very rude. There really can be. And I've seen guys that have lived here a long time be just incredibly rude in public to a whole restaurant full of Thai people. Like, I was embarrassed to to be standing next to that guy. I literally distanced myself. I slowly stepped backwards and I just kind of watched the sort of the shit show. Sorry for the language. It's the best way to say it. Oh, there goes Kun Pa. Wonder where he's going. And okay, so whatever. But so this guy I bump into, we end up talking for like an hour and a half or so, and his wife was nodding and agreeing with the things he was saying, which again then carries to me a lot more weight. As smart as he might be, and as experienced as he obviously was, and as maybe rational thinking as he might be. I have to say that because I don't really know this guy. But then on the other hand, so he's saying all these things, he's validating all the basic channel ideals of, coming here and being a decent person and try to blend in a little bit and try and get along with everybody a little bit and don't be a jerk and don't, do took and punch down on people socially. And, you get these guys and you meet them for 5 minutes, somewhere, you bump into them somewhere, and they're just saying all these really nasty things about people around us. And yeah, it's everybody's fault but your own, right? What are the odds that that's actually true? They're low. But then he drops a bombshell on me, and I'm uncomfortable with this. I don't know what to make of it. So he says all these kind of JID, good-hearted kind of things, all these keen insights. He's validating and basically agreeing. And I didn't tell him anything about my channel other than I had one, and he was totally uninterested. Which I get that, and that's fine. But then he goes, yeah, but we got to stay separate. You can't mix with the Thais. You cannot socially mix. You've got to stay separate. And my first thought was that just takes away everything he just said, because I don't like that. I can't say I agree or disagree. I'm just saying I don't like it. So he drops that bombshell on me, and he's just going on and on about how you got to stay separate. You can't socialize, this and that, except with very few people. And he goes, now he says a lot of things that are negative, and there are negative aspects to the culture here. The jealousy, the gossiping. Fun's going through that terribly right now. We're started building the house, which at this point's just, we got to finish filling the soil. We've cleared the land. We've filled the soil, which you build the soil. Thailand floods, and in many regions the flooding is widespread, very diffuse, and it's very shallow. It's by a meter. Land often floods by half a meter. It's not much. Okay. Her area doesn't really flood. The street might get 6 or 8 inches of water on it for a couple hours during like a, I'm going to call a monsoon type of rain. It's a rain. I don't know what it technically is. This isn't the meteorology, whatever the hell you call it, channel either. But this heavy rain that I've never seen in the United States, I don't know what to call it, but the rain will come down like, I kind of literally, like you had maybe like over this little courtyard I'm in, you'd have to have 100 fire hoses like overhead on a crane aiming down. Like I'm being very literal. You almost can't stand outside in it. You get like pushed down. The rain's coming down. It's so much weight of water per cubic inch. It's amazing. Anyway, so there might be a few inches. I've gone out to her property, and it sucked deliberately during some of those rains to check it. And I've never seen more than at her particular spot, maybe at the very worst, 6 inches of water on the road. And it's running like a river. It's running like a torrent. And so her land was above that naturally anyways, but I filled it almost another meter. One for good insurance, just in case anything changes in the future. No sense building a house and going, geez, I wish I would have spent an extra $200 on dirt. No sense doing that, right? And then a little more commanding view, and you're going to catch a little more breeze. So the soil has been filled, and we're building the wall more. I'll try and take a couple snapshots today. Just throw a little back, and I'll throw them in the screen here somewhere. The wall is getting built, and it is, in all honesty, it's very pretty. It's honestly one of the. So far, it's just a concrete, and then it's like the wall behind me. You've got a concrete base wall, like a wainscoting, anywhere between chest height to a little bit above knee height, like thigh height to chest height is kind of the wall's range for the base wall. And then the sow, the pillars that stick up above, those are, in my case, almost 3 meters. They're probably 2.5, probably two and 3/4 meters high. There's a good butchering of your damn metric system. So it's pretty tall. So it's very pretty, and it's big, and it's off the top of my head 170 meters long, give or take. I've been calling it the Great Wall of Thailand. It's it's significant. But some friends keep texting me. It's kind of cute. Anyway, so all that to say, it's obviously expensive. And fun is getting gossiped badly. And I mentioned this in another video, how, well, the wall might be big and expensive, but it's not going very fast. Oh, I bet you can't build a house. I bet the wall's going to, when it's all done, it won't look that nice, really. And, oh, I see he hasn't bought you a Toyota Fortuner or a 7-passenger luxury SUV yet either. And she's been in tears a couple nights over this, and I talked to her, and she was very upset to the point where, now this is kind of poignant. She wanted to borrow money on her own and then just put the house up immediately on her own, which would be financially just some kind of suicide. I told her, don't do that. Just be patient and wait with me. And then we got into an argument of a couple other things. And I withheld her allowance from her for a couple of weeks. So I have a general policy. I don't pay people that piss me off. How's that? Sorry, and I don't know what to tell you. If that offends you, I guess that's you. But I don't. When I'm mad at somebody and someone's said something I really don't think is fair, I tend not to give them money. That's an odd thing about me. I'm sure other people love doing that, but I don't. Okay, so we resolved that, and this morning I gave her her allowance. I paid her parents because they've been really nice and they've been helping me with a lot of things. And I do get facilitated. Now I get value for this too. It isn't just me being culturally a nice guy. I get value for this with my, and I mean this, constant 24-hour pain every day. There's never a moment when I'm not in pain unless my back is actually frozen, and I can only keep it frozen for maybe an hour or so at a time. Otherwise, I get seriously scared about frostbite or some kind of damage, like tissue damage, okay? Other than when I'm doing that, I'm in pain all the time. It's a matter of how bad and how much I can tolerate, okay? And you can tolerate a lot. You get used to it. It's amazing what you can get used to. Anyway, so with all that, I need help. And her parents are great help. And her whole family pulls together and does a lot of things for me. And I said in another video, 20 videos ago or something, like I matter to them, and somebody commented on the channel, yeah, you matter to them because of money. And yeah, that's true. Yeah, they didn't know who I was before, and now I matter to them because it's very hard to find a foreign guy that doesn't, kind of take a dump on the culture, that makes some kind of effort to respect the culture, and all those kind of things we've talked about before. You can decide which ones matter to you or not, but all that kind of stuff, it's hard to find, and I do support them a little bit financially, but just a little. I don't want to make it like they're dependent on me financially. Like if I didn't pay them their allowance one month because I was short or something, which is not generally going to happen, but if it did, they're not like on the outs or something, and I pay at different dates of the month, so no one's like saying, geez, on the 3rd, every month the 3rd he gives me my money. I don't want to do that either. It's like when you feed a goldfish the same spot they're not goldfish, and I'm not treating them like one. So, Anyway, so saying all that, so I had this conversation with this guy and his Thai wife. He was like 70, I want to say, and the wife, I want to say, was like 40, so a fairly big age gap. And she was quite pretty, but she wasn't like bar girl or model pretty, like insane, like you're immediately. She was pretty, but not to the point where it was suspicious. It looked like he had chosen wisely with his wife. I think I get the same reaction from people when they see me in Fawn. She's very pretty and she's young and all that, but she isn't like the girl that was trying to pick me up at the gym yesterday. You show up with that girl, everyone goes, geez, Rob, Anyways, so I had all that, and that was weird, and then he drops that bomb on me about, yeah, but you got to stay separate, you can't mingle. And, and he's not wrong. I mean, the part about that kind of is a bit of a gut punch is he's not wrong. Like, I told Fawn the other day, some of the going to dinners with like 8 or 9 Thai people, and everyone wants to just complain about work and speak rapid Thai and Thai Kolat, which I do not speak Thai Kolat. I know like 10 words of Thai Kolat or something, okay? It's different enough. I'm not going to give any examples right now, but I mean, the words aren't the same at all. So, I mean, if you know one word for Thai and then you have the same word in Thai Kalat, you're not going to recognize it whatsoever. They're, whatever, okay? So, some of that gets kind of, back to, bleh, boring, bleh. So, I've done my JID stuff, mingled and all that stuff, and the rest of it, no. The other thing along those lines I'm thinking of doing is trying to figure out where I can go and practice. I need to get in some more Thai conversations to take my Thai to the next level. I'm stuck a little bit, and it's just like weightlifting. It goes in plateaus. You have gains, you have plateaus, you have gains, you have plateaus. I've been gaining a lot lately, but I'm worried about plateauing, and I need to be practicing more, and I need to be with different people speaking on different subjects. I can't be with the same people talking the same stuff. I'm not going to learn new stuff. So I'm thinking about that. And that's risky because one way you flirt with a lady is saying, hey, can we speak a little Thai? Would you speak some Thai with me? But there are some safe places where I'm a known regular, and I could do that, and it would be all right. So, and I don't really care. It's not my problem. If I'm not flirty, I'm not trying to pick up anybody, and I'm just literally practicing my Thai, and I'm doing anything wrong, I'm going to do that. So there. How's that? Anyway, so maybe back to my point. Had the same conversation with Fawn, told her, replayed the conversation with this guy at the coffee shop and all that. And this is all stuff Fawn and I've talked about. And she agrees with too. Based on all the gossiping and the backbiting she's getting, there's a lot of people in the village we don't really talk to because they just want to put her down. That is a negative side to the culture. I'm not going to whitewash that, and I can't say, oh no, it's really fine. No, it's not fine. And to make a point on that, when I was at the other coffee shop. So then I go to another coffee. I'm not going to say the name, but I went to maybe my new favorite coffee shop in the city of Kolat. So by Mueang Kolat, and it was a new coffee shop. I was bored of the place I've been going, and so I went back to this place. Well, what the hell? If it isn't as good or whatever, I don't. Had one of the top 10 cappuccinos of my entire life. And I'd heard it was super good. I go there, I'm chatting with a foreign guy and his Thai wife, and I'm enjoying my stellar cappuccino and my really stellar bagel sandwich, by the way. And I appreciate a good bagel. And anyway, so she, his Thai wife, she's leading this part of the conversation. She's saying the same thing the American expat just said to me, that Fawn's always saying to me, that goes along with all the gossip and the kind of the less, I'm just going to say the less nice aspects of Thai culture. She's saying the same thing. Now, in all fairness, she's been living abroad for a while in the West, and she's come back with her husband to settle and take care of her sick mom. Now, this isn't me. This is her. This is a Thai person. She's calling out. She's going, Rob, I'm sick of their rudeness. I'm sick of them asking me deep personal questions just so they can turn around and gossip me and my husband. I'm sick of them saying that they don't like my appearance or my skin's too dark. That's a big thing here. That they can do that. That's their thing. I am not commenting on someone's skin tone, and I'm absolutely not saying someone's skin tone is too dark. And for the record, Fawn is on the very darkest of the Thais, and I find it very attractive. So they do that. That is a thing here. That was so surprising to learn and sad. But anyway, so she's kind of got in a bit of a rant. I think she kind of wanted to get this off her chest a little bit, and so she's going on about this. And so, what the heck is the point of all this, Rob? So. I mean, there's three different people all saying the same thing. Obviously, it's irrefutably true. Does this mean I'm taking back all the nice things I said before for the last year and a half on the channel? No. It just kind of came to a head. It didn't just come to light. It kind of came to a head because it was three kind of heavy-duty conversations. Some people were upset. I wasn't, but some of the people I was talking to were upset this week for various and unrelated things. None of these people know each other, by the way. And there is this other side to it. I mean, it's the same with back home. I have dear friends that, I'd greatly inconvenience myself to help or something. If the circumstances were what I call correct and I judge that for myself, I'd do that, okay? But on the other hand, there are a lot of people back in the States, we all know plenty of people in the West that really aren't worth your time. And I guess now that brings me back to the only cartoonist I really kind of became a bit of a fan of a little bit is, and I'm not sure how he pronounced his name. I only saw it in print. I've only seen written interviews with him. So, but Berkeley Breathed. He was the cartoonist he did Opus, the cartoon penguin. And then I think it was called Opus, maybe. And then after that, he took a hiatus and came back, and he called it Outland for a while, and it wasn't maybe quite as good. And then I think he just kind of went away. I'm not sure. But he was a reclusive. He was a recluse. Maybe that's why I kind of regarded him here as I sit here 10,000 miles away from many people. And it's amazing how far you got to go to get some peace of mind sometimes. But he had kind of a famous quote, and I can't quote it verbatim, but basically what he said is that why he values his friends so much is that the overwhelming majority of most people just are not worth your time. And he had a really eloquent way of saying it because he's a writer, but whatever. But there you go. And I guess that's I think dead same, like 100% the same. The U.S. or here. And that is kind of interesting. The more is you feel like when you first get here, you feel like you're on Mars because it's so different. But the people with their jealousies, insecurities, and motivations, and the good and the bad in people, and there's people who are like Kunpa and Cousin Yui and Fawn, who are just as jidey as the day is long, who are such good people and so good-hearted and so caring and unjealous of people who have so much more. I mean, just so impressive, such impressive people. But yet on the other hand, there's not that many of those. There's so many people that are, just all the negative aspects, and a lot of it's this jealousy and this Don Cho thing, this have to show, got to show off, be the big shot, the Don Cho. Cho, C-H-O-O, Paibon, is show. They don't have an SH sound. That's not allowed in Thai language. That just isn't, they don't have it. but they have a CH, and so they use the cho for show. And dong cho, which is have to show. And you got to have the biggest, most expensive car possible. You got to have flashy clothes, and you say, oh my gosh, that's so shallow. But again, I mentioned this once before. I was waiting in line to pick up my kids, and for however it happened, I was standing next to talking to a good friend of mine who was a psychiatrist, had a big practice in Bloomfield Hills, and she goes, Rob, a lot of these people here are my clients. She goes, never be impressed by all these Cadillacs, all these Lexuses and Mercedes you're seeing. It was a wealthy area. It was a very wealthy area. There was $10 million houses around there. It was pretty bonkers. And she goes, don't ever be impressed by that. She goes, all these people, I'm telling you, they're up to their eyeballs in debt. They just have to show. They're putting on a show. And I'll never forget that conversation. And it's the same thing here. You'll see a house that's like, wow, what a big impressive house. And on the inside, they didn't even paint it. They ran out of money. They didn't have any more money left. It's unpainted inside. There's no furniture. They can't afford furniture. They're all sleeping. There's 3 families, 9 people living in there, and they sleep on the floor, on the tile floor, on blankets. But they all walk out of a big house, all dressed to the nines every morning, or putting on a show. So it's just the same, I guess. There you go. Maybe I'm making a point. Am I making a point? I hope I am. Anyways, isn't that crazy, though? 3 separate people, the same frickin' week. I mean, and that one Thai woman that was really ranting, that really struck me, because she was the third of the 3 people I talked to, and she was not only agreeing with everybody, she was kind of taking it even farther, and she was pissed, and rightfully so, in my opinion. Her neighbors were treating her poorly, and she'd had it, and obviously, and I told her about Fawn, how I feel that she, at this particular moment, is being treated quite poorly. I just told Davo about this, and Davo, just while we were doing this, I could see his messages flashing across the screen. He's like, oh man, Rob, that sucks. That's too bad. Let's talk tomorrow. And, maybe you'll have Noi call Fawn and support her emotionally or something a little bit. I just feel a little bad for Fawn. They take the stress so much to heart. To me, it's like, whatever. You want to fight about it? Let's fight. I can do that. None of this bothers me. But to the girl that's Fawn is very much as much as she's very intelligent and well educated, her root culture, her core culture, she is a village girl, and this is just, it's like devastating to her. Isn't that interesting? All right, well, there you go. All right, I'm just going to walk down to the Great Wall of Thailand here and check on Kun Paul, I guess. He's always nice doing stuff. And I promised in the video here that I was going to have some pictures of the wall. I guess that means I've got to go to the wall to take the pictures. So that's that. There's Cousin Yui's place. Oh, her office is open. Those windows there and that door. I can just hear her sewing machine. She's at that thing all the time. Here's looking at the land from her aunt's property, looking through the barbed wire fence. This is obviously the front, and this front part here on the left side that doesn't have the wainscoting wall yet, that's going to be the entranceway. That's going to be an orange brick, a little fancier because it's the entrance. And here's the view from standing roughly on where my front porch will be, probably just about 1 year from now. My name is Rob, and thank you for supporting my YouTube channel. I meant every word I just said with respect.